Some careers do not stop progressing. They start repeating themselves. The work still changes. The projects still evolve. The responsibilities still increase. But underneath, the trajectory starts moving in circles. And because externally everything still appears active, most professionals never immediately recognize the shift. Most people assume career stagnation looks static. No movement, no growth, no opportunity. But many high-skill careers stagnate differently. The movement continues, but the direction weakens, the activity continues. But the trajectory stops creating new space. And over enough time, that repetition starts becoming emotionally invisible, especially in professional environments optimized around continuity, because modern organizations reward predictability, reliability, operational consistency, stable execution. And over time, those incentives quietly reshape how professionals experience growth itself. You stop optimizing for expansion. You start optimizing for maintenance, maintaining the role, maintaining the income, maintaining the routine, maintaining the position inside the environment. And psychologically, that transition rarely feels dangerous. It feels mature, professional, responsible. That is exactly why the repetition becomes difficult to detect, because externally, nothing visibly fails. The meetings continue, the systems continue, the structure still functions, the environment still rewards you. But internally, the movement already stopped widening. This is where many professionals become trapped psychologically, not by collapse, by repetition, because repetition creates the illusion that the trajectory is still evolving. But activity and transformation are not identical. A career can remain highly active while quietly losing its ability to change direction. That distinction changes everything, especially once professionals become deeply embedded inside operational systems, because embedded professionals often become more trusted, more stable, more operationally necessary, but also less adaptive, less flexible, less directional. The role becomes larger, but the future becomes increasingly repetitive. And eventually, many professionals start measuring progress through continuity, reduced uncertainty, stable systems, controlled environments. The environment feels familiar, predictable, easier to maintain. But repetitive careers often evolve very differently than expansive ones, because expansion requires uncertainty, pressure, adaptation, volatility, and continuity environments gradually reduce all four, especially after professionals become deeply integrated inside operational systems. The career remains active, but the trajectory starts repeating itself. And over enough time, that repetitive movement starts becoming emotionally normal. Because externally, nothing appears broken. The salary still grows, the role still exists, the environment still appears healthy. But internally, the trajectory already stopped changing shape. That is why many professionals eventually experience a strange form of psychological repetition. Not failure, not burnout, something subtler. The feeling that every year starts resembling the previous one. And over enough time, that emotional distinction becomes enormous, because people do not only react to compensation, they also react to possibility, movement, expansion, future flexibility. And when those begin disappearing, careers often start feeling psychologically smaller, even while external success continues, because repetition does not initially feel empty, it feels efficient. The systems already know you, the routines already exist, the expectations already feel manageable. And over enough time, that familiarity starts replacing expansion psychologically. You stop asking, what could this become? You start asking, how do I maintain this? That transition changes the emotional structure of the career completely, because maintenance and expansion create very different futures. Expansion creates uncertainty, movement, adaptation, new possibility. But repetition gradually removes all four, especially once professionals become deeply synchronized with operational systems. The environment becomes easier to navigate, but harder to escape emotionally. And eventually, many professionals realize they are no longer building momentum. They are maintaining continuity inside a trajectory that already stopped widening. One of the biggest misconceptions inside professional growth is the belief that continuous activity automatically means transformation. But many careers become structurally repetitive long before people recognize it emotionally. That is the part many professionals miss. The danger is not standing still, because over enough time, the repetition stops feeling temporary, and eventually, nothing changes enough anymore.